The United States men's national team October camp is here, and our first match will be against Germany, a legendary national team that has won 4 World Cups in the past, has plenty of fantastic players in the present, yet they don't seem to be doing very well these days. I mean, they had 2 consecutive World Cup group stage exits, a few bad Euros. They also moved on from Joachim Löw and his bad nose picking habits, along with the fact that he also scratched his balls and sniffed them mid-game. I mean, when you say that out loud, Berhalter's bounce passes and childish behavior on the sidelines seem far better than what Joachim Löw would provide Germany. But anyhow, Germany moved on from Joachim Löw and hired Hansi Flick. Then recently, they fired Hansi Flick and just signed Julian Nagelsmann. And today, we're going to be doing a full match preview for United States versus Germany here at Tactical Manager TV. Hi, I'm Johan Filippo and welcome to Tactical Manager TV and welcome to the US Men's National Team versus Germany match preview. This is how it's going to go. First, we're going to go through when and where you can watch the match, and then we're going to provide you some news and updates on the US men's national team for this specific game and the projected or predicted starting 11 for the United States. Then I will bring in Thiago, a German friend of the channel, a soccer expert, to update us on the current situation of Germany and what to expect from them this match from a German perspective. Then you can also hit the like button and comment whatever you want. It can even be something not related to soccer, like what's your favorite German food or something like that. I mean, it's pretty easy to pick. All they eat are like sausages, pretzels, and beer, right? The US men's national team is set to face Germany for an international friendly this Saturday, October 14th at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. The match will be played at the Pratt & Whitney Stadium located at East Hartford in Connecticut. If you're in the United States, you may watch this match at TNT, Telemundo, or Peacock streaming service. And of course, we'll be doing a live watch along here at Tactical Manager TV, so you can come for the live stream, come hang out with us. I dare you to do so. I seriously do. The last time the US men's national team faced Germany was all the way back in 2015 when we still had Jürgen Klinsmann in charge. The United States actually won that match 2-1, and that was literally roughly 1 year after Germany had won the 2014 World Cup. Mix Diskerud and Bobby Wood scored for the United States. And even though we had a horrible lineup, we won. And one thing I really hated about that game was Jürgen Klinsmann kept Breck Shea on the bench for the full 90 minutes. Yes, we defeated Germany without playing Breck Shea. Quite incredible. And you see, we defeated the German team that actually won the 2014 World Cup. Sure, they were missing a few players, but we really didn't put out a very good lineup for that game. We didn't have a good coach, just like now we don't have a good coach. But this is what I always say. Take these friendlies, or at least the results of these friendlies, with a grain of salt. For the better, for the worse. If you lose very badly, also take it with a grain of salt. And if you win, take it with a grain of salt. They're friendlies for a reason. The result matters less than the performance itself, if that makes any sense. So as I said, that was a friendly. And the last time we faced Germany in a competitive match was in the 2014 World Cup, 1 year prior to that friendly match. In that one, the United States lost 1-0 during the group stage. Germany went on to win the World Cup. And I'll say this, the United States did better against Germany than Brazil during that edition of the World Cup. Now, let's talk about the current US men's national team, any players that are missing, the roster, and the projected starting 11 to face the Germans. Okay, so first, let's go quickly through the 23-man roster. I'm not going to do a full breakdown. We did a whole live stream on that. You can go check that out. I'm going to skim through the names. So the goalkeepers of this 23-man roster that Greg Berhalter is bringing to face Germany and Ghana are Ethan Horvath from Nottingham Forest and Matt Turner from Nottingham Forest. The defenders, you have Cameron Carter-Vickers from Celtic, Serginho Dest, that's a fullback from PSV, Dejuan Jones, a fullback from New England Revolution in MLS, Christopher Lund, a fullback from Palermo in the 2nd Division of Italy, Tim Ream, a center back from Fulham, Chris Richards, another center back that plays in the Premier League, that plays for Crystal Palace, Miles Robinson, a center back from Atlanta United in Major League Soccer, and then you have Joe Scally, a fullback from Borussia Mönchengladbach. For the midfielders, we have 7 midfielders, and one of them is Johnny Cardoso, the central defensive midfielder from Internacional in Brazil, Luca de la Torre from Celta de Vigo, Leonard Maloney from Heidenheim in Germany in the Bundesliga. He can also play as a center back if needed. Weston McKennie from Juventus, Yunus Musa from Milan, Gio Reyna listed as a midfielder from Borussia Dortmund, and then we originally had Malik Tillman, but Tillman is out. He's going to stay in the Eredivisie in the Netherlands actually with PSV. He's been replaced by Alejandro Zendejas from Club America in Liga MX. As for forwards, we have 6 of them, and I guess Zendejas can also be considered a forward, but he wasn't originally in the roster. Let's talk about the forwards that were originally in the roster, and they are Brendan Aronson, that can play on the wing for Union Berlin and on the midfield as well, Floating Balogun, the center forward that plays for Monaco, Kevin Paredes, that is a winger from Wolfsburg, Ricardo Pepi, a center forward for PSV, Christian Pulisic from Milan, and Tim Weah from Juventus. And again, I'm not really going to give my opinion on every single player in this roster because I already did that in the live stream. And in regards to the addition of Alejandro Zendejas, I don't really care that much. I mean, who else would we bring? Maybe Taylor Booth could have been promoted from the U23 squad, but they're having issues calling players there as well, so I don't think they would do that. Zendejas probably won't get any minutes this camp. At least I don't think he will. But with these players that I listed, what is the probable starting 11 that Greg Berhalter will put out to face Germany? So let's make one thing clear. Berhalter has mentioned he's thinking about using a back 3 at some point this cycle. However, I am still expecting a classic 4-3-3 from Greg Berhalter to start against Germany, with Matt Turner on goal, Serginho Dest on the right, and Christopher Lund on the left. There is a slight chance that we could see maybe Dest on the left back and Scally on the right, but I think he's going to go with Dest on the right and Christopher Lund on the left to test Christopher Lund. See how he does against a better opponent that is not called Oman or Uzbekistan. The 2 center backs are likely going to be Chris Richards and Tim Ream. And then when you go to the midfield, we're probably going to see Luca de la Torre at the 6, Yunus Musa and McKennie as the dual 8s. There is a slight chance that Johnny could start at the 6, but Johnny is also arriving late in camp. I expect Johnny to get minutes this camp, but I don't think he'll start against Germany. As for Gio Reyna, I don't think he's 90 minutes fit. He only played 30 minutes for Dortmund the entire season, so I don't think Greg will start him. Plus, Greg loves starting Yunus Musa and Weston McKennie as a dual 8, so I think that's what he's going to go with. I would love to see Johnny, McKennie, and Reyna, or maybe Yunus Musa at the 6, McKennie at the 8, and Gio Reyna almost as a 10 or as an attacking 8. But I think Gio will probably come off the bench this specific camp. But I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. As for the forwards, we're probably going to have Tim Weah on the right wing, Christian Pulisic on the left wing, and Floating Balogun as our center forward. Again, this has not been reported. This is not official. This is what I expect. I will probably get 1 or 2 wrong, but most of it should be right. With that said, enough of the U.S. men's national team. Let's bring in Thiago and talk about Germany. Okay, we are back here with Thiago for the 4th or 5th time here at the channel. Dear friend of the channel, also a soccer or football encyclopedia. But today we're bringing you here to talk about Germany, because then you're definitely an encyclopedia of that. But just in general, a lot of knowledge in regards to the sport. Thiago, thank you very much for coming back.
Thanks for the invite. It's been how many times? 4 times? Yeah. Always glad to come back.
4 or 5, I think. You've represented Switzerland, Germany. You've came for random videos that we've done.
Yeah. We've done some stuff. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
So this one's going to be interesting. Germany coming to the US.
Yeah, and it's funny because you mentioned that, and I saw Nagelsmann. I've seen also some players sort of complain that they have to come here to play. Did you see that?
Yeah. It's a big topic here in Germany because I think they play the second game against Mexico on a Thursday German time, and Friday the Bundesliga starts again. So it's very tight schedule, and the clubs are actually complaining. Why do we have to send our players to all the way to North America and maybe not getting them back fit? So it's a kind of a thing that not everybody's happy with. But I see why they're doing that. It's going to be two cool tests against North American teams, hosting the World Cup in 3 years as well. Maybe presenting themselves well in North America. Let's see. Hasn't worked out too well lately, but new coach, who knows?
Yeah, let's talk about that. Let me bring up the roster because Germany, we'll go through some of the results of Germany. Germany has not really looked like Germany in terms of performance. 2 group stage exits in the World Cup in the past 2 after winning in 2014. and some really bad results in general. But what's funny about Germany is when you look at the team, the names that Germany has are still a mix of elite players and world-class players. So the results don't really speak for themselves. So Joachim Löw left, and then Hansi Flick took over. We thought things were going to change. They didn't. Hansi Flick got sacked after another bad window. And now you have Julian Nagelsmann, and this is his very first roster. When you got this roster, what was your first reaction?
I think it seemed to me like a breath of fresh air because he included 3 players that we would have never expected in the national team a few months back. It's in the attack, Kevin Behrens, who plays for Union Berlin. We've got Pascal Groß from Brighton, who was never really considered by any German manager. And we've got Chris Führich from Stuttgart, who's, I don't know, I was shocked when I saw him. He's a winger for, well, they almost got relegated last season. Now they're doing well. So regardless of the names, you can see that he's giving players a chance that don't have the big names, performing well right now. And that's probably something that Flick was criticized for. So maybe a good change.
Do you think that was based off then form? He's calling more based off form than names?
I think so, yeah. On the other hand, of course, he included a guy like Havertz, who's not doing well for Arsenal, who hasn't been doing well for the past years on club level, but doing solid for the national team. And we do have a striker problem. So it's basically a mix of players that he knows perform at least decent for the national team and players that he knows just have the momentum now. So it's an interesting one. Obviously, Neuer's not there. He's injured still. So maybe the chance for, I guess, Ter Stegen, but maybe the chance for another goalie as well to prove himself. There's also players, though, that are, in my opinion, doing well this season, like Nico Schlotterbeck, Dortmund's centre-back.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's doing great, and he was great last season as well, and he's just not there. So that got me confused as well. It's an interesting one. I'm not saying I fully agree with this selection, but he also said we still have 10 months left until the Euros. So if players don't make it now, then it doesn't mean they're not going to be at the Euros. So he's just testing, I think.
Yeah, it's also too friendly, so the consequences are absolutely zero. If you play poorly, they're not going to fire him right now. They're going to give him some chance. Let me pull up some of the results later. We talked about the 2 World Cup group stage exits. One of them was with Joachim Löw, the other one with Hansi Flick, and then latest results with Hansi Flick, and he got fired. I don't really know what Germans talk about there in regards to soccer. I don't follow German media. I guess the closest I get to German media is following you. But you cover everything. But Germany, look at this, lost to Belgium, tied Ukraine, lost to Poland, lost to Colombia, got ran over by Japan. And this is where Hansi Flick got sacked. He got fired after Japan. As soon as he gets sacked, Germany defeats France. I understand France was missing a few players here and there, but still, I don't care. What happened there? Why was it not working with Hansi Flick? The players want him out. What do they talk about there? This was very odd to me.
To me as well, and to the whole of Germany, I think. Well, obviously, everybody was happy when Hansi Flick was sacked because he's a nice guy, sure, and he tried everything. I don't know if you knew, but he had 25 games as a Germany manager and got fielded 25 different lineups. So he never played the same starting 11 twice. So he did test a lot. You can't blame him for that, but it just didn't work out. I don't know. The players probably played against him as well. He lost the dressing room. There was a documentary released on basically like an all or nothing thing for the German national team, where you saw a few weird things, how he communicated with the team. Didn't feel like he got the halftime speeches on point. The players sometimes had to do them because he couldn't really speak up. So, and that's a lot of German fans talked about that, went viral as well. So most people in Germany think that he just doesn't have the right mentality, isn't the big leader that we thought he is. And he was just not the right guy. Interim manager took over, Rudi Völler, former German striker as well, and we immediately beat France. I don't know, it's strange, but I think it's a good sign that they can still perform. So because as you said, those are players that maybe might not all be world class, not as we used to be, but still the majority of this national team on paper should win against. Is better than the players that Japan have. The players that Ukraine have, or all the other teams that we lost against Poland. So yeah, the players are still there. Maybe not as good as 2014, obviously not as good as 2014, but I think we shouldn't be we shouldn't be getting knocked out of the group stage 2 times in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think we won't at the Euros. So I think it's
I
going
was
to be
going to
better.
ask you, don't you think, I look at this team here, don't you think Germany has enough of a team to be a World Cup contender? I think they do.
I don't think we do.
You don't really? Because I look at this team. Ter Stegen is a good goalkeeper, and if you don't have him, you have Neuer. Whatever,
Oh, it's
Neuer is
great.
old. But you talked about Schlotterbeck, Schule, Rudiger playing for Real Madrid. Um, Good defenders right there, high quality defender. The midfield with Gundogan, you have Kimmich, Musiala, some wingers like Sane. I know Thomas Müller is old, but it's still Thomas Müller. Kai Havertz is struggling, but he's still a quality player. I don't know. I feel like with the right coach and things going right, maybe a few names here and there that can pop up, some young guys from Germany. It looks like a team that should be at least a quarterfinalist, semifinalist. If things go right, why not make it to the final?
Yeah,
I mean, go back to the 2002 Germany team that made it to the final. I'm going to tell you, on paper, I don't think it was better than this team. I mean, sure, Michael Ballack was probably better than every player that Germany has nowadays. I don't know if you'd agree with that, but on paper, it wasn't like a team to win the World Cup, but you still
yeah, no,
made
you're
it to
right.
the final.
Khan was there, carried us. No, you're right. So probably on paper, this team is better than the 2002 team. So no, you're right there. If a manager comes in, maybe Nagelsmann, that just gets it worked out, it makes click, and gets the right system and puts these players into the right roles, then sure, we should be making I guess we could be making the semis, sure.
Mm-hmm.
But to win it all, I think a striker. We still lack a striker, a real striker, and we had. Müller played sort of a striker alongside Klose in 2014. We don't have that Klose type anymore. And Müller is not 2014 Müller anymore. So I think that's the striker position is the problem. If we had a big striker, a world-class striker, sure. But like this, I think, yes, they should be doing way better than they are. Way better. Semi-final, sure, possible. But to win it all, I think something's missing.
It seems like an issue with modern day soccer, and just like teams really struggle to be successful without a proper nine. Like you can have a bad fullback, you can have one bad center back, and the other one makes up for it, or one midfielder that's a weak link. But if you don't really have a nine that can really put the ball in the back of the net, you're going to struggle nowadays. And
Exactly.
it's weird that it became so rare also in that sense. Now I don't know if I want to go towards this because I want to wrap things up here pretty much now, but I don't think you're able to give like a predicted starting 11 with Nagelsmann. There's like no data, nothing, right?
It's going to be hard. I think he's
Yeah.
going to put one of those guys that never made the national team. I think he's going to start one of those. And then in goal, it's not going to be the one that starts at, like, it's not going to be the team that he's going to start at the Euros. That's for sure. So he could just play the B team. I don't know. But I think he's going to take it pretty seriously because, as you said, it's just a friendly, 2 friendlies. But you have to keep in mind that we don't have any competitive games up until the Euro because we host. So that's the only games that we have. So the German fans basically take these games more seriously than usual because that's the only time we're going to see the team play and the only test that Nagelsmann gets. So I guess he's going to take it seriously, but probably still test some new players.
Sounds like us then, because we also don't have World Cup qualifying till the
Yeah,
World Cup. So
exactly.
we need to take all these games seriously. So I guess we might have a fun friendly here. Last but not least, I think Germany bounces back. Well, they already beat France. Germany gets a win here, or the United States?
I'd go with a draw. I'd go with a
Draw.
2-2 draw.
I'm gonna not give my prediction for this one because
Okay.
I don't know what to expect from Germany under Nagelsmann. We could see the German players with a lot of desire to show in work, like so they can, gain the confidence of their new manager. And the United States under Berhalter, it's very unpredictable of how we can play. It's very predictable the style of play we're gonna play, right? Go to the sides, whip in crosses. That's Berhalter ball. But we don't know. And there's questions like Gio Reyna, is he healthy? He's going to be coming off the bench. Malik Tillman from PSV is not going to be available. So we'll see. Tyler Adams is not available too. We'll see how the United States does. And Fiago, thank you very much for coming along. I'm putting all his handles on the description: Twitter, YouTube, Instagram. Go follow him. His shorts are wonderful. And his Twitter takes, sometimes he gets in
Thanks,
trouble on Twitter like me. You got to stay out of trouble.
man. Appreciate it, man. Thanks for the invite. Always happy to come back here.
Right, everyone. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to drop a like before you go. And don't forget, we will be doing a live watch along for United States versus Germany this Saturday. Comment something down below, your favorite German food or your score prediction for this match. Thank you very much for watching and have a great day.